7 killed in Myanmar during protests on Sunday. Women reacts to cases of criminals in disguise of the hijab. Declaration by High Representation on behalf of the EU on World Press Freedom Day. This and more coming on this week's newscast. Good evening, you're watching this week's newscast with me, Mariama Cham, and thanks for joining us. At least 7 people were killed in Myanmar during protests on Sunday. Protesters could be seen marching down the streets of Yangon as strikes continue across Myanmar for more than 3 months after the military junta seized power. More in this report. Myanmar security forces opened fire on some of the biggest protests against military rule in days, killing 7 people 3 months after a coup plunged the country into crisis. The protests, after a spell of dwindling crowds and what appeared to be more restrained by the security forces, were coordinated with demonstrations in Myanmar communities around the world to mark what organizers call the Global Myanmar Spring Revolution. Demonstrators were chanting "Release our leaders immediately" and "Release all detainees immediately" before running away upon the arrival of the security forces. Protesters are staging short rallies to avoid the military crackdown, but several people have reportedly been arrested. The death toll for people killed in the country's anti-coup protests has now topped 700, according to the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners organization. The junta, however, only acknowledged 248 casualties. Explosions have rocked Myanmar's largest city of Yangon as protesters held flash marches for democracy and overnight candlelit vigils, defying a brutal military leadership that has held onto power for the 3 bloody months. The country has been in turmoil since the military disposed civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi in February, bringing an abrupt end to Myanmar's short-lived experiment with democracy. The army staged a coup alleged fraud during the last legislative elections in November 2020. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham. Now, the President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, has used the occasion of Workers' Day to lift COVID-19 lockdown that was imposed sometime last month. Speaking during the event at the State House on Saturday, Mr. Kenyatta noted that the measures were imposed to protect the lives of citizens and that it was a bit safer to relax them. Kadijut Seka tells us more.
The lifting on the COVID-19 lockdown will immediately allow the reopening of bars and restaurants, religious services and schools across the country. Nairobi and surrounding counties were treated as one zone, with residents banned from traveling to other areas, with a view to lower the rate of infections. The President noted that it is the responsibility of the government to protect the lives of its citizens.
That we have instituted these restrictions with no joy. However, as a government with the responsibility and the mandate to protect the lives of Kenyans, we must fully acknowledge that that responsibility that is bestowed upon us calls for action to secure the lives of our people.
The President said the outcome of the COVID-19 measures has brought a significant reduction in the number of cases.
Data from our medical experts suggest that the same trend in the zoned areas we put on lockdown during March 26th of this year, after 1 month of lockdown, the COVID case load within the zoned areas has come down by 72%.
Cases in Kenya, the richest country in East Africa, have fallen from last month's peak, but it is still among the top 5 nations in Africa reporting new infections and deaths. Kenya reported 497 new infections and 17 deaths within the past 24 hours, according to the latest Health Ministry data released on Friday. Overall, the country has recorded nearly 159,000 cases and around 2,700 deaths. Broadly, Africa has not suffered as badly from the pandemic as other parts of the world,